And we have Kenny Cunningham in for the evening. Kenny.
Yeah, evening, lads.
You don't have to do it in the blokey voice.
Yeah, that sounds...
We're going to get a reputation.
That makes me very uncomfortable, Joe.
Richie
I've got to be honest with you.
Richie McCormick's here as well. Hello, Richie. Hey. 53106 is the text number. We are at Off the Ball on
No one's
Twitter.
ever said that in relation to me being anywhere, by the way. Ever.
Should bring you up to date, Liverpool fans. 2-0 down in Belgrade was not in the script. Belgrade, the squad is worth 44 million all in against plucky Liverpool. And it's 2-0 to Belgrade. Second half has just started. Interesting result so far, Kenny.
Yeah, it's kind of two sucker punches. I was watching the first half just down the Harry Lemon there. It was...
And did you say you'd give them a plug on the radio for
No.
a free drink, or are you just throwing that in there?
Never accept any free drinks or food around the
Surely
city.
former Republic of Ireland captain doesn't have to pay for
as a point of principle. No, as a point of
Never
principle,
accept free
Joe.
food.
No,
You of all people.
No, never. No, just don't like to be compromised. So
Your integrity doesn't want to be gone.
no, not my integrity, but you compromise yourself a little bit. Hence the question you just asked me. You've no fear of asking me that question in future because it's never an issue.
So if you were in the chipper, you like your chips, and he said, Kenny, do you know what? Thanks for everything you've done for your country. Here's a free bag of chips.
No, I'd put the money on the side, and if it was a bit of an altercation, now you take it, that type of thing. I'd put it in the charity, something, but I wouldn't leave there with the money. Very rarely I'd leave with the money in my pocket, if ever.
No, good to know. Good to know.
But anyway, did you ask me a football question there?
I asked you about Liverpool,
wasn't it? Yeah.
You brought up the Harry Lemon, not me.
Yeah, they've been doing all. There was a relevance to it. It wasn't totally abstract. I was watching the game down in the Harry Lemon, hence the reason why I
nobody
brought
needs
it
to
up.
know where you watched it, Kenny.
Yeah, it was.
You're tracking your movements from this point on.
Where else were you? Sorry, go on. What did you make of the first half then? Because I actually haven't seen any of the first half.
I thought they'd done okay. The playing within themselves obviously made a couple of changes, but the obviously system never really changes. I can imagine the atmosphere there is pretty electric, but they looked reasonably comfortable, Joe. Without offering too much going forward. Sturridge had a great chance at 0-0, should have scored, and then just got caught a couple of sucker punches direct from the corner kick. That kind of zonal system we can talk to death, but the big centre forward just getting that bit of a head of steam, just 2-3 steps, getting a little bit of elevation, and powerful header into the back of the net. And then the second goal, Liverpool giving it away in a poor area, but still had enough time to recover. It's one of those situations. I wasn't particularly worried when he picked up the ball. He was still about 45 yards from goal. He was the big lumpy centre forward again. If you'd have told me, look, he's going to take 2, 3, 4 touches, walk to the edge of the box and fire this in the bottom corner, I would have said no chance. Someone's going to get in contact and make a tackle, but nobody did. Wijnaldum didn't get back in contact with him. And it's the one question mark I have about Wijnaldum, that kind of holding midfield position for Liverpool, that real kind of defensive capabilities. I think a Jordan Henderson in there, or somebody who's a real defensive mindset, likes a Fernandinho, Kante, that type of player. Matic recovers quickly, assesses the danger, physically imposes themselves, makes a tackle, disrupts the forward in that situation. Wijnaldum never did that. And the lad just buried it into the bottom corner. So yeah, Liverpool in big trouble here.
In that situation where a guy's on his own up front, really, I mean, there's no one ahead of him as such, and he's 30 yards from goal as it was when Wijnaldum comes into contact with him. Is Wijnaldum within his rights there to say, do you know what, I'm not going to foul him, I'm going to let the centre halves look after this? Or should he have just fouled him and stopped the play? Because there was a touch of a break on, but only a touch. Yeah,
well, first and foremost, you look to yourself from me before you start pointing the finger at anybody else. And there is an argument there maybe for Van Dijk or Gomez getting out.
Matip in this instance.
Matip was it? Excuse me. Right, yeah, getting out a little bit quicker, but I still feel as if a central midfield player there needs to get around and make contact with him.
Yeah.
If not necessarily give away the free kick, just disrupt him, put him off balance, make physical contact with him. Wijnaldum just wasn't able to do that, so it's cost Liverpool.
In Group C, before tonight's games, Liverpool led the group on 6 points, and they were a point clear of Napoli on 5 points, and PSG were 2 points back on 4. So it's not disastrous for Liverpool if they do slip up here. And Napoli play PSG this evening at 8 o'clock.
Make things pretty hairy for the last 2 games.
They could be looking at second place finish, yeah. I mean, it's a big slip up in...
Yeah, just want to put the bet, I think, as quickly as possible. It really helps. And you look at the remaining fixtures, and the Napoli game at home, they'll fancy if they have to go and win that, I get a point, but that's not a given. I mean, Napoli are a very dangerous team, so...
No, there's less elbow room for sure, and it's a bit needless because
exactly.
Red Star Belgrade aren't up to anything brilliant, but I guess they're pretty up for this game. Shaqiri left at home, was part of the build-up. I'm sure that's played into the atmosphere over in Belgrade as well. So
probably could have done them, to be honest with you, because he's the type of player. He can spark a team. Shaqiri, he really energises the team. The kind of high intensity, sharp. You know, that kind of quick change of direction. That type. They've looked a little bit lethargic, Liverpool.
Lallana's limitations have become fairly obvious in the last couple of games. The last couple of times he's been used.
Yeah, but you say that, Rich, but the position he started tonight, he's playing as one of the midfield three, but if you remember before he picked up that succession of injuries, it was that position that he was actually excelling in for Liverpool. He'd actually converted him into one of those like 2 number 8s in central midfield in those advanced positions. He was the one putting that real kind of high press on, getting tight, making tackles, getting on the ball, showing a bit of creativity, a bit of imagination on the ball. So this isn't a position he's unfamiliar with. I just think you're going to have to be a little bit more patient with him. He's had a horrible run of injuries.
Take time.
I think it's really going to take him some time. But
no, Kenny, I'm writing him off here now. You may as well retire.
The problem he's got, you're right, Rich, in terms he's got players now he can bring straight. He doesn't have to wait on them because the competition, that central area, the pitch now for Liverpool is absolutely fierce. Henderson, Kate in particular, for me, when they're both fit, need to play. They're probably Liverpool's 2 outstanding players, and obviously Wijnaldum and Milner, etc., thrown into the equation. So he needs to find a little bit of form pretty quickly, and he's going to find himself on the outside looking in.
There's still 35 minutes to go. Klopp's irate on the sideline at the moment, but we should say during the last couple of minutes, Liverpool have had plenty of decent spells of possession in and around the Belgrade box. A Robertson cross there just deflected off a defender and hit the top of the crossbar. So you wouldn't think they're out of this just yet. There may be time. Kenny, you like your boxing, don't you? Or do you?
Oof, I'd have to say no.
I thought you did.
I'd be lying if I said particularly.
Do you know why I think I thought you liked your boxing? Because you're a big fan of Joshua. That's why I have that in my head. Do you like Joshua?
Yeah. Okay. No, I am. Yeah, the personality, yeah.
Well, then this might not quite do it for you in the way I thought it was going to, but I'll plough on anyway. Yeah. Kenny, you like your boxing, don't you? I do, yeah. Great. Kenny, you're going to love this. After 8 o'clock, it's 80 years, Kenny, 80 years since one of the all-time classic fights. So this is Joe Louis against Max Schmeling. So Joe Louis, Max Schmeling for the heavyweight title of the world. Second time they fought, Schmeling, the German, beat Lewis, the American, in the first fight. So there was a lot going on here. It was 1938. This was USA versus Germany. This was democracy versus fascism. It was a black man, Joe Louis, who had gained acceptance amongst the white community in America to a point, but was a hero to black America. And Schmeling, the German, Hitler using him as a propaganda source, and he had a Nazi spokesperson with him, and so they fought in Yankee Stadium, New York, 1938. Joe Louis looking for revenge for the heavyweight title of the world. It was broadcast on NBC, and it's still the largest ever audience for a single radio broadcast. 70 million people listened to this fight across America on NBC.
Amazing.
And Joe Louis won in 2 minutes 4 seconds. Revenge for losing the first fight. The first fight, apparently he didn't train very hard. He took things pretty easy, didn't think Schmeling was up to much, and then it turned out Schmeling was really good. And we're going to talk to David Margolick this evening, who's written the book on the whole thing. Schmeling and Joe Louis became really good friends after the war.
Is that right?
Which was a nice thing, yeah. So Clem McCarthy was the radio broadcaster on NBC, by the way. Good Irish name. Don't know much about it, but he was there to 70 million people. Now, if you were talking to 70 million people, you'd be a little bit nervous.
You would think boxing in terms of, radio wouldn't translate very well. Not having got a huge amount of options back then, people in terms of TV, etc. That was pretty much the only way you could get your sports by way of the radio. But
it does. Jim McGee was a great man for broadcasting boxing on the radio, and even
Mike Costello on 5 Live.
I was just going to mention 5 Live, fantastic.
Do you ever listen to Mike Costello on 5 Live?
I think you're right, because like a couple of times I've listened to boxing on the road, been in the car. Naturally, you'd assume, that's just not going to translate. That doesn't work at all, but it does. You do find yourself getting drawn in.
Good news. Stick in your headphones. I'm going to give you a blast of Clem McCarthy from 1938 in just a second. Have you got your headphones in?
I have.
Okay, so here. By the way, here's Joe Louis for fight 1 to really prove he didn't take his training seriously for the first fight. His training camp in New Jersey. He spent a lot of time playing golf, where he was introduced to the game, and he loved golf. And also, he said of the general atmosphere, girls were coming around like flies. This is Lewis in his autobiography. I remember one time my trainer, Chappie, took a stick and threatened them to stop coming over, but I found them anyway. So he was a real ladies' man.
We've all been there, Joe. We've all been there.
He was having an affair with a Norwegian actress, and his wife was at home. So wasn't a perfect man either, Joe Louis, but makes for an interesting life. So here you are anyway, 70 million people, Joe Louis against Max Schmeling in June 1938 at Yankee Stadium, New York.
and she's about to start with this Yankee Stadium packed to the doors. There isn't an empty seat. Joe Louis in his corner, prancing and rubbing his feet in the rosin. Max Schmeling standing calmly, getting last word from Doc Casey, and they're ready with the bell just about to ring. And there we are. Now Max is backing away against the ropes. Louis is following him and watching for that chance. He is crowding Schmeling. Schmeling is not slipping around very much, but his face is already marked, and they stepped into a fast clinch, and at close range, Louis fights desperately to bring up a left to the jaw and a right to the body, and coming out of that clinch, he got over a hard right, and then stabbed Max with a good straight left jab, and Max backed away and missed the right. Louis then cracked him with two straight lefts to the face, and brought over that hard right to the head, high on the temple, and Max tied him up in a clinch and broke ground. Is back against the ropes again. They're not too close to the ropes. Louis out, and Louis missed with a left swing, but in close, brought up a hard right overcut and a right to the jaw, and again a right to the body, a left hook, a right to the head, a left to the head, a right. Schmeling is going down, but he held to his feet, held to the ropes, looked to his corner in helplessness, and Schmeling is down. Schmeling is down. The count is 4. And he's up, and Louis right and left to the head, a left to the jaw, a right to the head, and Donovan is watching carefully. Louis measures him right to the body, a left hook to the jaw, and Schmeling is down. The count is 5, 6, 7, 8. The men are in the ring. The fight is over on a technical knockout. Max Schmeling is beaten in 1 round. The first time that a World Heavyweight Championship ever changed hands in less than a round.
Tell me that didn't work for you.
It did work. I was particularly impressed with his first statement at the start. He said we were just about to wait for the first bell, and then bang, on cue, you could hear the bell in the background. That couldn't have been a coincidence.
There was a quote from I'll move off this now, by the way, because we got the piece coming up after 8 anyway. A Langston Hughes, who was a big literary figure at the time in Harlem. And he described coming back from the first fight in 1936, when again Joe Louis was this hero to black Americans and to America generally, and it was starting to heat up with Germany. And he said, I walked down 7th Avenue. I saw grown men weeping like children. Women were sitting in the curbs with their head in their hands. All across the country that night, when the news came that Joe was knocked out, people cried.
He was champion when he went to Germany when he lost the first match. That's unusual that he travelled over there.
No, that was in New York as well.
Oh, that was in New York as well.
Schmeling travelled over both times. Yeah. Interestingly, neither of those two were world champion at the time of the first fight. Do you know who was world champion then? Russell Crowe played him in Cinderella Man, James Braddock.
Great film.
James Braddock, that's just for the purpose of the conversation, we'll dumb it down. Russell Crowe was the world champion. Russell Crowe was world champion. These two fought in the first fight.
He could throw a dig or two, to be fair to him.
Good, yeah. Schmeling beat Louis, and then just for financial reasons, they got Russell Crowe and Joe Louis to fight. And then Joe Louis won that. So Joe Louis in the second fight was world champion, but when he beat Russell Crowe, he said, until I beat Schmeling, I'm not really the world champion. So he needed this fight in 38.
Yeah.
There you go. I've sold it to you. That's coming up after 8 o'clock.
Yeah, Braddock was a good story. Enjoyed the film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like Russell Crowe?
Good actor. Yeah, good actor.
As a man, you're not that keen.
I don't know enough. Just a perception, isn't it, from what you see? You look at him sometimes, you think, man's cranky. Man, that type of thing. But I don't know. A few comments attributed to him, I wouldn't be overly impressed with. But jury's out, I suppose. Jury's
out then. Ivan in Kilkenny says, Kenny is lying, guys. I once saw him taking candy from a baby. Didn't Kenny, says Ken and Drimna, send the producer of the show out for a bag of chips once, lads? I wonder if he reimbursed said staffer after the show.
Has JP sent that through himself?
That's
JP.
Goalposts.
Jeez.
That's changing.
I can confirm.
At least try and mask.
JP is shaking his head.
That's changing the goal, but that's different. That's like somebody spotting you a bag of chips, one of your mates, you get them back, boom, boom, boom. That's different.
Surely it's easier for the
into
man.
An establishment and demanding a bag of chips on the understand, and they're about rah. There's a unwritten contract here. I'm going to mention you in a couple of hours on a radio broadcast.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm not talking for the in exchange for a radio broadcast. I'm just saying, you're Republic of Ireland captain, Kenny, bag of chips on us. Thanks for all the service. No, you wouldn't be having that.
Not even a bag of
name on the wall.
Not even a. Oh, you mentioned you referring to...
Just saying.
Oh, down in...
Your name might be somewhere on some chipper's wall.
Go on the wall.
Where?
Still on the wall.
Where is that?
Is it not?
This was brought up before. This is old news, Joe. It's old news.
Have you not made the Burdock's wall?
Burdock's.
Are you on Burdock's wall?
No.
How are you not on Burdock's wall?
Look, leave it, Rich. Leave it.
Rich, leave it.
Sense, I'm a bit sensitive.
What's going on?
Kevin Kilban's
Kilban's on it.
Sorry, just get Kevin Kilban, who didn't captain his country.
Is your name on it?
Yeah, Richie's is too.
Yeah, famous.
I didn't see yours. Okay, I think they've scrubbed yours off, Rich, I've got to be honest with you, to make room for a couple of more.
But not Kenny Cunningham, crucially.
Sorry, are you upset that Kevin Kilban's on the wall in Burdock and you're not?
I can't be upset, Kev. I mean, media personality.
Sounds like you are.
Sounds like you're a bit upset, Kenny.
I'm never upset when I come out of Burdock for a bag of chips in me and some fish bites.
Especially when they're free.
Even
though your name's on the wall.
Never.
Here, we have to move on. Okay, so we've teed up the show. We'll be doing that Joe Lewis, Max Schmeling chat after 8 o'clock. The contributor's really good as well. He's written the book and the whole thing, so there's loads there. Joe Lewis died a very sad way. He ended up penniless and no money, and Schmeling reportedly contributed money to pay for his funeral, actually. So Schmeling did very well, became a millionaire afterwards. So that's all the way after 8 o'clock. We'll start the news round, which is brought to you this evening with Screwfix.ie, championing the trade with a choice of over 20,000 quality trade products. So away from Liverpool, 2-0 down in Belgrade. Richie, what else going on?
Group C's other game kicking off at 8 o'clock and sees Napoli playing host to Paris Saint-Germain. Tottenham's slim hopes of a place in the knockout phase could end tonight. Defeat to PSV Eindhoven at Wembley will condemn Spurs to third at best in Group B. Paolo Gazzaniga starts in goal for the suspended Hugo Lloris. The back four then of Serge Aurier, Toby Alderweireld, Davinson Sanchez and Ben Davies. In midfield, it's Harry Winks and Christian Eriksen, and in front of them, Dele Alli, Lucas Moura and Heung-min Son, and Harry Kane leads the line. The top two in that group meet at the San Siro, with Inter hosting Barcelona. Thierry Henry's wait for a first win as Monaco manager looks like continuing. It's currently Monaco 0, Club Brugge 3 at the moment, with 23 minutes to go in that one. 2 goals from Hans Vankinen, the second of those a penalty, and the third from Wesley, all inside the first 24 minutes. Monaco haven't won a game since August. Group A's top two meet at the Wanda Metropolitano, with leaders Borussia Dortmund away to Atletico Madrid. Porto will be all but assured of a place in the last 16 if they win at home to Lokomotiv Moscow, and Galatasaray lose away to Schalke.
Sorry, why are you fist pumping there?
Oh, saying game on, Atletico tonight against Dortmund.
Oh, is that what the hipsters are watching, is it?
That'd be a good game.
They should be. The way Dortmund are playing some football since the start of the season. Oh, frightening. Some young talent in that. I know Sancho's getting a lot of the headlines, but there's some real young quality attacking areas as well, sprinkled all over the pitch. So that'll be game on tonight. Yeah, they actually wiped them out.
Alcacer as well. Front.
Yeah, he's found his shooting boots, but they've just found their mojo again. They really have. They look a real force again, real kind of energy in the team, which they once had. They kind of lost it for a period of time. Marco Reus is back as well, probably with the elder statesman of the team now, but he's got a wealth of young talent playing in and around him. Some good actually young defenders as well. The lad Zagadou they brought in from PSG. Like last year, watched him a couple of times. He could be the next one. Looks absolutely outstanding. Mountain of a player, good feet, reads the game well. So if we could get eyes on that game tonight, I know, but it's Barca and Inter Milan tonight, big game as well. But
we'll try and sort something out.
You're going to look after me, Rich, yeah?
I'll sort you, okay, don't worry.
I haven't seen any Dortmund this season, so I'm curious for a look myself, so I'll take your word for it. I should mention, by the way, as well, Pat Fenlon coming up on the football show. He's gone in as Linfield's general manager, which is an interesting move for Fenlon. Obviously played for them back in the early 90s. So we'll talk to Pat Fenlon about what that's like. I mean, there's been a lot of talk of anti-Irishness and Poppygate, obviously, and Neil Lennon and various bits and bobs over the last few days. So be an interesting time to talk to Pat Fenlon, going back to Linfield. So that's on the way after 9. Martin O'Neill was in town today?
He did, and Captain Seamus Coleman and Burnley midfielder Robbie Brady are back in the Republic of Ireland squad. Both returned from injury to be included in O'Neill's 36-man squad for the Nations League trip to Denmark and the friendly with Northern Ireland. Southampton's teenage striker Michael Obafemi earns a first call-up along with Liverpool goalkeeper Caoimhín Kelleher. Rotherham's on loan Ryan Manning, ex of Galway United, also makes the cut, as does Hearts' Jimmy Dunn, who's currently on loan from Burnley. There's still no Declan Rice as he continues to mull over a switch to England, but O'Neill continues to be hopeful that the West Ham teenager will remain in green. O'Neill also confirmed today that Dundalk's former Northern Ireland under-21 winger Michael Duffy has switched his allegiance to the Republic of Ireland, but his paperwork hasn't been cleared in time to be included this time around, and O'Neill today was assessing his new call-ups.
Just that he's getting close now to first team football. The very fact that Southampton feel, even in these tough times that they're having at club level, that they're showing a willingness here, if that's the case. So I've just kept an eye on things, and at least he's. I think that he's got a little bit of pace. He's strong, and he's making his way in the game. Long way to go, of course, but Just thought that add him to it. Young Dunn has gone from Burnley. Was obviously going to be, I think, 4th choice there at centre half. It's gone up to Hearts. It's been a difficult week for Hearts and himself, but just to say that he's around about the scene and that we're looking at him. Spoken to him, and he was delighted to even be mentioned in the squad. So that's, I mean, I do have to pare it down. Come in the next few days, let's see how the weekend goes. But overall, just some people in mind, and it's worthwhile. And we have some young players coming through, and over time, I'm hoping that they will make the breakthrough and become proper players in the senior squad.
Yeah, so that's Jimmy Dunn he's talking about there laterally, who's at Hearts at the moment, and then he was first talking about Michael Obafemi at Southampton. So Obafemi made his Premier League debut for Southampton against Spurs in January of this year. He hasn't played for Southampton this season yet, but he was at the time the club's youngest debutant ever after Luke Shaw. He was born in Ireland, in Dublin, to Nigerian parents, and then moved over to England. The family moved over to England when he was quite young, but he has been capped for Ireland at under-17s and under-19s level. And Southampton this season thus far, he's been mainly in the under-23s so far this season. Mark Hughes, when he gave him his debut, said he's got unbelievable pace. It was important that I had a look at him in the Premier League environment because he could very well be someone that we can use. Now, he hasn't quite kicked on since then in a massive way, but he's still very young. He's still a teenager. There was talk for a while that he was about to declare for Nigeria. So clearly O'Neill feels he's interested in playing for Ireland. And then, yeah, Caoimhín Kelleher we'll talk about later on. Liverpool goalkeeper is in Belgrade tonight, actually. And Ryan Manning of Rotherham and Jimmy Dunn of Hearts are both under-21s. This is a provisional squad. I mean, so... Yeah,
we saw it last time. Towell, etc. got trimmed last time. So
yeah,
there's every chance that these lads won't be involved once the Northern Ireland friendly comes around. But Glenn Whelan's going to captain the side against Northern Ireland, and O'Neill hinting today that this could be his 85th and final appearance.
Yeah, we might touch on that later on. So Wayne Rooney is generating much discussion over in England for getting, I guess, a token cap, really, a thank you cap, a goodbye cap. That's coming up against the USA in a friendly, and it seems against Northern Ireland, Glenn Whelan's going to be included. O'Neill said he deserves it, overrated caps. He's been brilliant for me, brilliant for the country. So he'll come back, he'll get on at some stage, and that probably will be. He said the phrase he used was Glenn realistically is coming to the end of his days. So it was a little bit of a John O'Shea, Robbie Keane got a bit of a goodbye at the Aviva Stadium. Do you have any problem with Glenn Whelan getting a goodbye?
I don't have any particularly strong feelings either way. It depends on the nature of the goodbye. I'll be honest with you, if you had to push me one way or another, I'd say probably in terms of whether it's Rooney, whether it's Glenn or another player, I'd probably lean away from the fact that they actually bring them over and actually give them a game, this type of thing, like giving it to say goodbye. I think marking the occasion by bringing them to a game and maybe coming onto the pitch at some point, whether it be probably before the game and there's a presentation, or acknowledge the crowd and the crowd have an opportunity to to salute the player in that respect. Yeah, absolutely. But in terms of actually, well, come over and you can have 45 minutes, particularly the position that we're in. I mean, we're really struggling at the moment. We're really struggling to find a team, a style of play, a real cohesion to the team at the moment. We've got a big game against Denmark. It may not be that big by the time the Denmark game comes up, but the qualifiers start next March. There's no more friendlies.
Yeah,
we've got to find a team, a system of playing. We've got to find it quick, and the games are running out. And this is a big opportunity for us, Northern Ireland, clearly. So, yeah, it's a bit of an odd one for me. Not the fact that it's Glenn, but generally speaking, it doesn't quite sit with me. I've got to be honest with you.
No, you've explained that very well. You're perfectly happy for someone like Glenn to come over and take the applause and say goodbye. But
yeah,
your point is fair. There aren't that many games before things get very serious, and we need to figure things out. So maybe the Wayne Rooney thing, England are under a bit less pressure. They know where they're going under Southgate and got a bit more certainty about who plays where. So
yeah, but but for me the principle is probably is still the same. Yeah.
Rob Kearney then is the big injury worry?
Yeah, he's rated as only 50-50 for Saturday's test with Argentina at the Aviva. The fullback still receiving treatment for a shoulder complaint and was facing further reviews this afternoon. Should he be ruled out, it would open the door for Chicago hat-trick hero Jordan Larmour to continue in the number 15 jersey against the Pumas. Leinster back row Dan Levy and Munster's Sammy Arnold and John Ryan are yet to rejoin the squad, having travelled to South Africa with their provinces last weekend. Conor Murray isn't involved at Carton House this week. He was in France last night to collect Midi Alan-Peake's Oscar for the best player in the world, as voted for by their readers. Scrum coach Greg Feek was in front of the microphones today and was remaining coy on Murray's involvement going through the rest of the autumn.
Obviously not being here this week. They're freshening him up and he's just trying to tick some boxes to get back in the frame. We already have 3 good halfbacks there, so there's no point carrying one more. So
you're still not ruling out next week?
No, it's still the same as what it's been at this stage.
Sorry, Media League voted Conor Murray the best player in the world.
They did indeed.
I totally missed that.
The readers there was an award ceremony in France last night, so Murray was over there collecting an award for best player in the world.
Conor Murray, impressive.
Yeah.
Will he be the first Irish player to have won that award?
I wouldn't know either way, to be honest. But for the fact that he's winning best player in the world, and Sexton's the only Northern Hemisphere in the world rugby shortlist, I mean, it kind of augurs well for rugby here at the moment.
So this Manchester City financial fair play business then?
Not going away.
Yeah.
City again at the centre of questions over their financial conduct. German publication Der Spiegel claims that City have channelled millions of their owner Sheikh Mansour's money into the club via Abu Dhabi-based sponsors. It's the second article in a week that suggests City were engaging in tactics to avoid stringent financial fair play rules. City have described the articles, though, as being based on what they call out-of-context materials purportedly hacked or stolen from the club. Joris Evers, though, who's the Chief Communications Officer for La Liga, told BBC Sport today that the Football Leaks documents appear to confirm what we have been saying for years. Both PSG and Manchester City are cheating and should be sanctioned.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, but that's not news. I mean, we all knew that.
No, it's just
some documentation to show.
Detail
of what they're at.
Absolutely. But it's been well known. It's just been brushed under the carpet. It's just some people just haven't wanted to speak about.
It's just juicy to get the different ways they have cheated. Like, it's interesting to see. Well, they've set up these fake companies, which then money goes into, and then they become.
It's not even a fake. I mean,
they have done that as well.
Oh, yeah, but the big sponsorship deal they signed with
Etihad, etc.
The Airways, it was like 60 million. So straight away you thought 60 million. That's inflated. You know what I mean? That was a huge amount. It was way above the norm in terms of sponsorship deals of that type. So straight away you thought that's an inflated price. Clearly there's a reason for that in terms of financial fair play. They got to dot the I's and cross the T's. So for it to come out now that actually Etihad were only paying like 10 million and the other 50 was actually coming from the Abu Dhabi group, which is basically Sheikh Mansour, is basically that's where it's come from. That's how they kind of navigated the whole thing. So it's an absolute for me, the financial fair play was a great idea in principle when it came out. What was driving it initially, I don't know how you feel about it, when it first came out was the case, well look, clubs need to behave responsibly. There's a lot of money around, but we need to put the squeeze on clubs and say you can spend money, but you can only spend what you can afford. So we're not going to have this kind of boom and kind of bust what we've seen with a number of clubs. So that basic principle for me kind of made sense. But somehow we've deviated and gone away from that. I don't see the problem with a big, very successful businessman, stroke country or whatever coming in and investing a huge amounts of money into a football club. As long as they don't board that football club with debt, or loans or whatever it is. Somebody who comes in and writes a cheque and puts it into the infrastructure of a football club in terms of players, training facilities, new stadium, into the surrounding area, rejuvenates the whole area, which Manchester City seem to be doing. I have absolutely no problem with that. And I don't think that should be stopped, because at the moment that can't happen anymore. From what I can see, what we've seen at Chelsea and Manchester City can never be kind of replicated again, and that's a shame, because the dream for any support around the country, say particularly over in England, is that some kind of sugar daddy, some multi-millionaire, hugely successful businessman will come in and put a huge amount of money into the football club, i.e. Leicester City, probably the best example of all some years ago, and they'll fulfil all the dreams in terms of winning trophies and winning the title. So that kind of dream's been taken away from a lot of football clubs, which is wrong. So the basic principle, the fundamental on which the financial fair play was established, was a good one for me.
Well, they're saying the financial fair play itself has holes in it. I mean, you only have to look at what happened to AC Milan over the course of the last 6 months or so. They were found to be in breach of financial fair play rules. They were thrown out of the Europa League. They took their case to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which is something the PSG are doing now as well, and had that decision overturned because the Court of Arbitration for Sport went, well, these are Mickey Mouse rules, they're not enforceable by law, so therefore you can't face any actual punishment for it. So you can see why City and PSG are not necessarily shrugging their shoulders at this, but I don't think they're sweating any of these stories.
No.
It's not a good look for one of their legal team, to be quoted as saying in an email about the death of one of the financial fair play officers, 1 down, 6 to go. I mean, that's not great. But I can't see them facing any stringent punishment for this.
Or if they do, they'll just lawyer up and drag the whole thing out forever. You know, that's
another
the tried and tested method of wealthy people everywhere in the world. And One of the great, I mean, you mentioned the sponsorship situation. I've got to wrap up here and go to ads, but one of the sponsorship deals was worth 200 million. I'm not sure over how many years, but 200 million. And the financial fair play people looked into the deal and figured it was actually worth 3 million in the marketplace.
When Mancini was sacked in an effort to pay off his contract, they had 3 different sponsors suddenly out of nowhere boost their deals to the tune of whatever Mancini's severance package was. So
yeah. It's not been the most sophisticated plan either. Just, just funnel the money from the Abu Dhabi group.
This isn't a huge criticism for me, the Abu Dhabi. I think they should be allowed, because as I understand it, they're actually writing checks to the football club.
Sure, they're not leveraging the club with debt.
Yeah, absolutely. So that they shouldn't be restrained in any way. They should be allowed, and it should be more of it for me. Probably there'd be more of a level playing field if that was the case, and more people were to come in and invest that type of money into football clubs.
That's interesting. So once the debts are being paid off, you don't have so much of a problem with it?
No, I don't. I think that's a lot of simpler solution for me. We know where we stand. There's a bit of a line in the sand there.
I have to tell you that Off the Ball and McSport.ie are trying to get you fit for Christmas. McSport.ie are Ireland's largest supplier of sport and fitness equipment. Over 7,000 products covering over 60 different sport and fitness categories, including rowing machines, spin bikes, power racks and weight benches. Kenny.
Rower killer, absolute killer.
Would you take rowing machine or spin bike or power rack?
I'll never take the rower. Last. I can't even look at it in the gym. I can't even look at it. Even people using the rower on the gym, I can't.
But if you were going to buy one, you would get it from McSport.ie, right?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
There's no chance I will ever out my wallet and pay for a rowing machine.
But you don't pay for anything. We've established that. You just go in and say, I'm Kenny Cunningham.
Tell you who's an animal at it. Mick McCarthy.
The rowing machine.
On the rowing machine was an absolute animal.
And
loved it.
Why do you think that is? Long limbs?
Just had that kind of mentality. You almost got to hate it. You love it and hate it.
See, he likes his cycling now, and that's also about punishment.
Yeah, it is. There is a bit. That's what I'm saying. It's a hate thing. Like,
so, are you soft? Do you think mentally weak? Would you say weak mentally?
I don't think so. No, when it came to me, look, I did the rower when I had to do it. But consciously walking into a gym now, since I've stepped away from football, that was 12 years.
Yeah.
I've never walked into a gym and just walked straight. It's just never happened.
What's the Derry gym scene like? Do you know? We checked it out.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
It's not even a natural. It's not even natural. It's
not a good segue.
It's not. It's poor. Thanks, Joe.
There's no wit in that at all.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
You're better than that, Rich. I used the rower for about a year last year, and it is tedious. Yeah, I had to give up on it. Very tedious.
Horrible. You just can't kid it.
No, it's grim. Because it was given, Aina Falvey, he was the doctor with the Irish rugby team for a long time, and the Lions. It's this programme. You can do it with various exercises, but so it was about it was 20 minutes. So you do a little 5-minute warm-up grand, but then it's 4-minute blocks where you do. And this sounds fine. This sounds not too much trouble at all. So you do your 4-minute warm-up, that's one block. But then you do 4 minutes of 20 seconds full-on sprint as hard as you can go, 10 seconds recovery, 20 seconds fast as you can go, 10 seconds recovery. You think 4 minutes of that I'll be okay, and then it's a 4-minute block in between of just fairly steady stuff, and then you're back to the sprints again.
Right.
And in the end, I feel like you're puking up lactic acid. It's no crack.
No, I've done something similar.
Gets you fit though.
Yeah, but so you're saying, those 20-minute high-intensity blocks, 10 seconds off on it. So I've done then, say, not a lot of, over the last couple of years, I've ducked in and out. So 20-25 minutes of that, like you were suggesting. Yeah. 20 minutes in. It could be anything. It could be press-ups, could be lunges. Yeah.
Sprints.
A lot of even a lot of leg stuff and that as well, and getting the heart going. Yeah. 20-25 minutes of that, and there's no machines involved here whatsoever. You can do it in group sessions now as well. You can do it outside in the park. 20-25 minutes, it's as good as anything you can do. Yeah. And I tell you, we don't even need a gym membership. You can literally go out in the park with your mates and do it. Half an hour workout, like you say, it's as good as anything.
This was developed by some Indian cricketer, this formula, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and then a break in between. From memory, don't ask me the cricketer's name. That said, as much good as the park is, I think you'd be a fool not to go to McSport.
McSport. I'm going to throw in an Indian.
McSport.ie. For the love of God, Kenny.
Let the man get his promo readout.
So, can I just finish this, please?
This pays the bills. We can't all get freebies like you.
I'm thinking of a high-profile Indian cricketer there. It took me a while.
Oh, no, it's going back a long, long time.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, this has been around for a long time. There's nothing new here. Anyway, I'm sure after that conversation, you might be on the lookout for a rowing machine. If you are, McSport.ie is where you want to go. Every night this week, we're giving you the chance to win a €100 gift card, and you'll also go into our end-of-week draw to win a €1,000 gift card. To enter, just identify our mystery voice who says OTBAM really nailed this morning's show from the Web Summit in Lisbon.
You know what, I only saw clips of it. I saw a bit on social media. But yeah, kind of everything clicked.
Text your name, 53. Oh, Kenny didn't get that. Play it for Kenny. Go on.
You know what? I only saw clips of it. I saw a bit on social media. But yeah, I mean, kind of everything clicked.
Text your name and answer 53106 for 30 cents. We'll announce the winner at the end of the show. Oh, thanks to mcsport.ie. Kenny, you can visit their showroom in Sandyford Industrial Estate in Dublin or shop online at mcsport.ie if you want to try out a rowing machine maybe. Get back on the horse. Would you have to do much rowing machine as a footballer? Not a thing.
Not a lot, but you would have done a little bit of circuit training in the gym, you know, with a bit of physical conditioning. Fitness coach would have brought you in, maybe a 16. The lads obviously got to throw a few things together, and generally the rowing machine would have been one of them. Little blocks, maybe 30 seconds, a minute at most, full on. But then your posture's got to be right.
It's all about technique.
Yeah, exactly. But that's tough.
You don't miss that.
No.
And did you like bikes? Cycling? Running?
No.
What did you do? What did you like?
You used to kick ball, Joe.
Yeah. You play football.
I was a footballer.
Did you hit the weights hard?
Not particularly. The weights hit me hard once. I remember my first Millwall, we used to have our gym used to be in the car park on stilts. It used to be like just like a big old shed, basically. It couldn't have been much more than 20 foot by 15, literally on stilts in the corner of the car park. So you walked in one of these classic, the classic multi-gyms. So you had like a bench, walk on to the next one, a pull down, bicep and try. These bog like standard
5 or 6 different ones in one.
Freezing cold. You walk, put your hands on it, freezing cold. So that was it. I remember my first year there, going and doing a bit after training, because I was very ignorant in terms of physical condition, what I had to do. I didn't get a lot of information back then, so you thought, go into the gym, lift as heavy as weight as you could. That was it. That was the mentality. Really? I've got to go in and try and lift as heavy as everything. Lift everything as heavy as you can, because I was skin and bones. So I remember being in there once and giving her a big yank, the old pull down, not the old above your head. Yeah. The literally camera's not here.
The lat pull down. The lat pull down. We'll call it the lat pull down.
Well, the thing snapped. Literally, not that I was lifting particularly heavy weight, but cracked me on the top of the head. I was by myself in the gym. I was stumbling around the gym, split me open like. Had to stumble across the car park back in to see the physio, because most of the lads had left at this stage. I was doing a bit extra after training. Had to stumble in trying to find the physio to kind of patch me up. But that was it. That was my experience of a kind of physical conditioning initially when I went over to England. I mean, there was nothing there whatsoever. You had to educate. Well, say educate yourself, but even the Google thing wasn't. The Google thing's not an option for me now, even at the best of times. But even 25 years ago, it certainly wasn't an option. So I probably wasted about, I'd say, at least half a dozen, 6, 8, 10 years doing a load of work, physical, thinking I'm really pushing myself, physical, I'm getting myself quicker, stronger here. And a lot of it, I was just wasting my time. I was top heavy, wasn't doing enough core work. Eventually that came back and bit me on the backside. Had to have a groin operations, etc., etc. So I certainly would have been a better at starting 10 years later. I certainly would have been a better athlete than I was during my career.
Interesting.
Not through laziness, but just ignorance.
Doing the wrong thing. Ignorance. Yeah, working hard at the wrong thing. Liverpool's still 2-0 down. 3 minutes to go in that game. Back in a sec.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
Thanks to Screwfix.ie, championing the trade with a choice of over 20,000 quality trade products.
Down to business.
We're back on the road with our brand new roadshow, Your Town, Your Main Street. It's coming to Lawler's Hotel in Naas on the 17th of November.